Welcome to episode 2, season 2 of the Inspire podcast. This week sees me interview Mark Wakeford, co-managing director of construction company Stepnell. The business has been in Mark's family for 5 generations, and during the interview we discussed the Stepnell culture, how Stepnell attracts staff, their 10% apprenticeship policy, and Mark's opinions on how the industry can do more to promote its benefits to young people. Thank you to Jane Southard for arranging the podcast and her work on the Stepnell Early Careers Programme, which shined through during the interview. I hope you enjoy. Okay, welcome to the Inspire podcast, into series 2 now, and we are on tour today at Stepnell headquarters with the joint managing director Mark Wakeford. Welcome, Mark.
Good morning. Welcome to Stepnell.
Thank you. We're going to be delving a little bit deeper into Stepnell as a business, some of the cultural differences between Stepnell and other construction businesses, and more importantly, going to be delving into the apprenticeship route and how Stepnell are doing that a little bit more than other contractors around the apprenticeship route and attracting and inspiring young people into construction. So Mark, if you could to give us a bit of an overview of Stepnell as a business, that would be great.
Yeah, Stepnell's been around 152 years, so
okay,
it's a well-established family business. Indeed, I'm 5th generation from the founding man.
Okay.
So the 5th generation now pretty much in control of the business and taking it forward. We do about 170 million pounds worth of construction turnover last year. We employ about 450 people, and we operate out of the headquarters here in Rugby, and then regional offices mostly in southern England, up in Nottingham, Oxfordshire, down in Southampton, and across over in Bromford and West Midlands.
Okay.
So fairly good regional spread. We try to aim to be the local contractor out of those offices, and then we have the other region. We have these regional offices is to provide a regional supply chain and regional employee base from which to operate from. So we're still a traditional contractor. We have a joiner shop, we have a plant yard, things that are almost extinct now in most of our competitors. But we feel they add real value back to our customers in terms of the quality and the flexibility we can provide our customers, and that's important to us. So we aim to be a customer-focused contractor. We focus on what our customers' needs are, and we try and add value to their businesses rather than just turning a handle and providing whatever they think they need. So we aim to be a very touchy-feely, responsive contractor that's actually very technically driven. So we have a bunch of technical design managers who are very good at then pulling out how the best design for their buildings should operate.
Okay. And in terms of the heritage, yes. Family heritage, 5th generation, could you just give us a bit of a feel for when you were probably a youngster looking into construction, and you're obviously generations and probably father, grandfather in this business. What sort of attracted you to it, and was it an attractable business?
Oh, it's definitely attractive. Yeah. But the family's very good at this because and my father went through the same thing, and my grandfather before him went through the same thing. And there's absolutely no point bringing somebody in who's either inadequate for the role, or who doesn't want to be there. Both of which would be a disaster for the business. And so the general arrangement is that once taking me personally, I trained as an engineer. I kept my options open. I went and worked for a very large contractor, international contractor, on leaving college. And so I kept my options open for coming back into the business, and that's the same for really much everybody else who's come into the business. They always go and train somewhere else, find out what's happened in the big wide world, and then try and bring that knowledge and that skill base back into the company if they choose to come back, and there's an opportunity for them.
Okay, so that route is very much go and learn your trade. Yeah. Probably get that respect levels from staff that you've been there and done that. Absolutely. And then bring that best practice back in Stepnell. Yeah,
and then the other aspect is you have to be. Just because you've got the right name doesn't mean so you can run everybody and tell everybody else what to do. You have to be better than them more aware, or whatever it happens to be, but you have to be better than them rather than just putting somebody who's not very good over the top of some really professional stuff. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so I think I would guess that's the first thing that the staff would say. If you're always under scrutiny, aren't you? Of actually, it's a family member. You've got to be, you've got to be top level.
Yeah, you have. Yeah,
it would probably drive you on to be better.
You have to be. You have to be. There's no room for complacency.
Okay. And I guess this brings us on to the sort of cultural piece around Stepnell. Has that culture, firstly, in fact, if you could describe the culture of Stepnell, or how that culture has changed, if it has over the generations and years where you've been away to other companies and maybe embedded some cultures or ways of working?
I think culture is one of those things that probably hasn't changed.
Okay.
So a lot of the working practices and things we do would have changed enormously. Even in the 20-some odd years I've been here, a radical change in the working practices that we have. But the fundamental culture, I don't think has changed, and we are effectively a family business that aims to provide a really customer-centric service to our clients. So we have a whole team working culture here, so everybody's included in the discussions and debates we have. We employ 120 tradesmen within the group, so they're actively involved in providing quality, so they're a great backbone for some of the work we do, particularly down the south coast. And so we major on, we will provide the customer what he wants, what she wants, and that is a customer-focused, high-quality service, and that's what we do. And so that culture then comes from having a family basis to it, a consistent family basis. So you'll know better than most about the turnovers in the industry. The turnover in this business is phenomenally low at the senior level. And that allows us some consistency in terms of managing, training, and keeping the team together.
Okay, on that training, do you have a training program in place that when people come into the business, there is a standard training, almost matrix program that they go through, so that there's the consistency throughout?
So it starts at the strategic level, because for the last 20 years we've been operating a policy within the company that 10% of all our employees have to be trainees or apprentices.
Right,
okay. So best practice in the industry, if you go into the best practice industry, it's 5%.
Yeah.
We're double that.
Okay.
And for me, it's just very straightforward. It's, we have an average working life 40 years, average training period 4 years. Therefore, 10% of my staff need to be trainees or apprentices.
Yes.
It's that straightforward.
Yeah.
And that then reinforces then how we then go about business. So all the offices know, all the senior managers know, we need a 10% trainee basis. And so it's always on everybody's mind that we need to make sure, and we discuss it with the board and make sure that those targets are being achieved. So we then look at the individual trainees and apprentices. It very much depends who we're bringing in, what we're bringing in. And we try to put, if you're a trainee or apprentice, you're on a very tailored individual program that you're going to be looking at. And so we'll have mentors, or we'll have people looking after people, and you'll be on a program that's reviewed regularly by senior managers, and our training lady will also be hot on everybody's heels to make sure that the courses are being attended, the qualifications are being achieved, and that you are progressing through the company and achieving what your potential is.
That's good. So, and you've actually invested in a training manager to ensure that the program is always on everyone's minds and it's been managed accordingly.
You need because the senior managers are hard at it. Construction's a tough game, and so having Jane on board to be able to perhaps pick up some of the admin, do some of the chasing, the chivying, and making sure that the courses are correct. We're attending the right courses for the people we've got, and the quality of delivery is achieved as well. I mean, there's quite a lot of courses out there which look good on paper, but actually when you get down to it, probably aren't what they should be. And it's really important to us that if we're going to be investing our individuals' time and their expectations and their aspirations, that the time they spend going on courses or apprenticeships, whatever it has to be, is actually valuable, and they actually win, and it adds value onto their careers.
It's interesting because we were looking ourselves at the amount of courses available out there at the minute. It's just almost, it's that law of there's too many.
Absolutely.
You could almost do with someone just saying, well, there's 3, there's another 3 on the more management side. They're the best of what we're out there.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all good quality either.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It's and I think that's part of the problem with young people when they're looking to go into these courses. They'll probably go on the website or speak to someone in careers, and they'll advise them to go on the website, and there's just too many. With little direction.
I think actually, if you're coming into the industry, picking a company like Stepnell, like ours, and perhaps some of the other larger companies who are geared up to take on apprentices and trainees, actually that knowledge is in those businesses.
You're going to give them the direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're looking for surveyors or site managers, bricklayers or plasterers. We know how we're going to get that person up to the standard that we need, which is probably as good as anybody else in the industry, and we know how that route through the qualifications courses actually will work.
Yeah, well, that's a great selling point for Stepnell, and having obviously spoken with Jane, she's passionate about that as well.
Absolutely.
And you're clearly passionate about it, and you have that measurable in place that 10% at all times you all have coming through. So you're always looking to grow your own, and it's on everyone's minds, which is really impressive.
I can manage them better. They know me. We know what the quality is. We know how we're going to make sure we get more quality. We've invested in them. They've returned that investment. Yeah. So we can ensure that we deliver the Stepnell quality, which is probably better. We hope is better than anybody else's. And it gives us a longevity. I mean, when I took over managing director of this business, I asked the shareholders, what do you actually want from me? Yeah. And I said, you need to hand over a sustainable business to the next generation. Well, that's fantastic. The only way you're going to do it is bringing youngsters into the business and giving them a very good trade and qualification to carry on the business into the next generation.
That's a great message, isn't it? It's a great message from the shareholders for you.
It is, absolutely. It's quite a challenge.
I can imagine.
But actually, it's a long-term challenge. And the focus on staff is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, has to be. It has to be. You're clearly doing something right. Obviously, the figures were released in December, I think, your figures. And, construction, I think there was ourselves only yesterday saw 2 businesses go out of business.
I know, it's tough. It really is
tough market. And you're increasing turnover, increasing profitability, delivering a quality service at the same time.
So we will maintain the quality. I think turnover will be dropping this year because the market is. We've all been exposed to Brexit and the election, and that's cooled off the market. So the turnover is dropping, but still, absolutely, the emphasis is on quality. I always maintain that the one thing when we walk away from a building, from a project, is we leave behind the quality. And that's solved so many. If the client's got a good project, the staff and the tradesmen are really happy we've achieved the quality that they know that they can deliver. It's the right way of going about life.
You're going to get that return business from the client, you would hope.
You would hope, and our reputation
absolutely
says that's what happens.
It does. So just focusing a little bit on yourself when you were looking at construction, could you just give us
it's a long time ago.
Probably bringing it more up to present date and in between there then. What's your most memorable project you've worked on?
Oh God, I knew this question was coming. The most memorable projects are generally around the people.
Right, okay.
So you remember the challenges you tackled and the challenges you overcame. And we've had some fantastic projects in this company. Simple ones like putting up the first 25-metre high bay warehouse in Rugby. Fantastic project at the time, for a young engineer being given a bunch of drawings and a big space in somebody's field, so go and build the biggest building in Rugby. Fantastic. We've gone and been involved in Rocky Motor Speedway, which is the first banked oval in Europe. So we're running champ cars and NASCAR cars around. Sadly, that's gone away, but actually delivering the project, absolutely fantastic. Some major challenges to overcome in terms of delivering it. We've done some fantastic projects in the colleges in Oxford. We've been, lots of university work, and you always come back to the people involved in it. And we've got a really interesting one at the moment. I hope to get some prints onto. We're refurbishing one of the UK's longest Victorian railway tunnels. not the sort of project that comes along very often. But it's the sort of project we really love because it's different. It's out of it's off the wall. There won't be another one done in probably ever. Certainly in my lifetime. And we're bringing back a Victorian railway tunnel, which is, I think it's Europe's largest blue brick structure, 1.7 miles long, and we're bringing it back into use as a test track for vehicles. So there's some really interesting ones. There's a great team that we've got delivering that project.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you come back to the people, and because they're the memorable aspect of it, aren't they? The relationships you build, challenges you probably faced, overcome.
It's a team game. It's a team game from everybody in that team is solving that problem. So I go to the Catesby Railway Tunnel. We've got some really intricate brickwork that we're going to have to, Victorian brickwork. The Victorians knew how to lay bricks. And part of the challenge we've got is how we repair and refurbish the brickwork, and that's going to give both the longevity of the project, but it's also going to make it look good. So that's right way through to some of the technical aspects. We've got some really challenging technical problems to solve on how do you ventilate a tunnel, how do you get the fire precautions into it, and so and those challenges from the brickwork right the way through to the fire protection and the ventilation actually knit the team together, and that's why they're memorable. It's that sort of overcoming the challenges that any project would actually throw at you.
I'm interested in just going back to something you said earlier, and it's relatable to what you just said about the team. You talked about the all-team approach, that everybody in the business is involved.
All team,
So just because this is from a culture perspective again. In a lot of businesses that doesn't happen. It's it's from the top, this decision, and people hear about it over a period of time. Give us a feel for what that actually is.
I'll give you a concrete example of it. So we have a board meeting every month. We go around our regional offices every month. Every board meeting starts with 3 randomly picked people from that office coming and presenting and answering 4 questions to the board. What I like about Stepnell, what I don't like about Stepnell, what I want to change, and what I definitely don't want to change. And they get the opportunity to speak direct to the directors. And that's it's given a huge amount of authenticity, credibility to both the staff, who get the opportunity to sort of say it as it is, and for the directors who can then hear from the front line what's going on.
So you're taking a pulse of the company within your...
Well, I think we're pretty good at taking the pulse anyway, because everybody's out of that. But actually, that is a tangible sign of what we need to do. We need to listen to the staff. We need to understand what their challenges and weaknesses are. And everybody knows that, so Joe Bloggs is coming to talk to us next month here. They can field anything that they would like to answer those questions.
Really interesting.
And we get some really quite interesting challenges.
Do you really? Okay.
So people aren't bashful. They're not absolutely. They might be talking to directors, but we've got a really open culture here, and people are prepared to speak their mind, which is really essential in a business that's going to thrive and go forward.
Okay. No, that's great. I appreciate you giving us an insight to that. So you talk very passionately about construction and about your business. A challenge construction faces at the minute is a skills shortage.
Yes.
Could you give us a feel for how you see that skills shortage? You're obviously involved in the NFB, National Federation of Builders. Could you just give us an idea around the skills shortage firstly, and the NFB, and how you think that may
so the skills shortage, there is unquestionably a skills shortage out there. I mean, we are seeing really 2 problems, well, more than two largely frontline problems. We're seeing a lack of people coming into the industry, and so there's a shortage of people within the industries, within the companies and supply chains that we use. So we see this as not, we might employ a firm of dry liners or plasterers. They might be able to get the numbers if we're lucky. Generally we're struggling to get numbers, but also the quality of those numbers has fallen as well. So that actually we're employing fewer competent people in the industry. We're employing more people who have done less qualifications, so instead of MVQ3, they've done MVQ2, and so the productivity that we're trying to deal with on site and the quality become more of a challenge.
Yeah.
So that's on one level. The other challenge we've then got is that the skill sets we need in a lot of the craftsmen on site. We need people who actually understand things like collaborative planning. We need foremen who actually understand how to program, how to manage their staff, and how to plan work. And we're seeing that as another challenge, another, if you like, managerial challenge, particularly in the foreman level of some of our subcontractors that we use. So we have on a lot of our sites we use something called collaborative planning tools. So we'll have a one-to-many meeting with the site manager talking to all the foremen all at once on a large project, saying, well, this is what we want to do for the next week or two. How are you going to work? How many people do you need? What's the interface and everything else like that? And to get those really effective, we need a set of skills in those foremen, which we're struggling to find.
Okay.
So the skill shortage for me is that there's a shortage in numbers, but there's also a shortage in depth.
Okay. Yeah. Which sometimes overlooked, because it's all about numbers in the press.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
However, the depth of those skills that are required, especially in the digital age.
Well, digital whole different ball.
That's it. Yeah. We probably haven't got enough time to go there.
No, absolutely.
You're absolutely right. And do you see the challenge of, first of all, attracting people to the industry is at a secondary education level, or do you think that it starts in the primary level? Really? Right.
You've got to get right down into the primary. You've got to enthuse people, because I think people are beginning to form their opinions. If you can get them in the primary school level and just say these are the fun things we're doing, this is how things happen, at least they're aware.
Yeah.
Whereas by the time they get to secondary school, they've been to have an opinion about some of the roles that their family do, their friends do, what the teachers know or don't know, and it creates more of an uphill struggle if we're trying to open up a new industry that people have got no knowledge or experience of.
Okay.
So I think we have to hit the primary school. Don't get me, we have to maintain the emphasis in the secondary school as well. But that's it's sort of across the board, and it needs construction to open its doors up right the way through.
It does,
to make that to get that knowledge and that expectation out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And could you just go into the NFB aspect of your role as well?
Yes. Okay, so I chair a group of a major contractors group within the NFB. The NFB is a trade federation which represents building contractors, building main contractors, from the small contractors right the way through to some of the largest contractors in the UK. And so I chair a board of the major contractors within the NFB. And our objective is really to improve the industry, or try and improve ourselves. So it's a self-help group at one level, but it's also as a publicity and promoting group as well. Okay. So we're picking. So our last publication we did was a carbon report. So we produced a report to transform construction for a low carbon future. It came out in November last year. We're hoping to get it updated this year, and we're looking at various other reports at the same time. So that role is really informing and advocacy for the industry.
Right. Okay.
The NFB as a whole is really there to promote to promote the success of its members. On a sort of basic level, that's what it has to do. And promoting success of a major contractor covers a whole range of activities. One of which is trying to work out how we're going to get the skills sorted out within the industry, and understanding what the industry has to do to promote skills both at the government level for funding. So things like the Orca report into FE must be, it absolutely has to start funding FE on a similar or better basis, similar basis of HE, or a better basis than it currently is. Right the way through to trying to get people into schools and education, trying to encourage their members to take up apprentice levy and try and get training sorted out on that, and then looking at the quality of training. So it's sort of the success of a contractor can be measured on a whole range of different areas, and the NFP is generally active on where it thinks it can do most value, most value.
Okay, that's interesting. And you touched on apprenticeship levy there, apprenticeships.
Yeah, yes.
Could you, I guess for any young listeners, viewers to this, thinking about route into construction, what skill set would you like demonstrated if you were looking at an apprentice today within your business? What do you look at in terms of that skill set? And is it a qualification or is it a skill set in terms of work ethic, the softer skills?
So the soft skills are really important.
Okay.
I mean, the way we recruit is we're looking for opportunity.
Okay.
We're looking for people who we think we can mould and who will provide a really good service.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for enthusiastic people who are prepared to just jump in with both feet and say, give it a go.
Yeah.
I might not know anything at all, but I'm happy to learn and see what's going on. So on one level, it's all around about the opportunity people can bring and present at interview.
Okay.
If that's a level of enthusiasm, it's a level of awareness. So I've done something about looking into construction. It's about a willingness to learn.
Yeah.
On the other level, we do recognise that construction is going to get a more technical bent, whether you're a bricklayer, plasterer, or a management trainee. And we generally have a rule that you need your maths and English to get into employment at Stepnell, because for the long term, you're going to need that base knowledge to be able to cope with a lot of the information that's thrown at you. So you're going to have to be able to read. You're going to have to be able to do some basic maths, and you're going to need to get these things. We can't afford to have these dragging you back.
Yeah. And most apprenticeships will have that as a prerequisite in terms of that math and English level anyway, won't they? So they go into that route, which is good.
The apprenticeships, I mean, I'm also a governor of FE College.
Yes.
Our biggest challenge is putting our apprentices through maths and English.
Is it raising that standard to get them onto the course? Yeah, okay.
So that's not a small bit of work.
No, I can imagine. And in terms of apprentices coming into this business, you talked about the 10% during your own rule. Do you get involved in meeting them or screening them, or do they get some time with you or your fellow directors?
So they certainly get time with fellow directors. My joint managing director gets to see most of the new recruits.
Okay.
So that's his role. So he's busy acting in that.
Okay.
They certainly have, we all operate an open door policy. So when we're out on site, quite happy, I'll go and see people and talk to people, and we are a family business after all.
Yes.
And we're in the Stepnell family.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is. I think everybody recognises that no matter where you are in the business, you're an important member of the team. I say if that wall doesn't get decorated, it doesn't matter how good the QS is.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I would do as managing director, if the wall's not decorated, the client's not going to be happy.
And it's interesting that as I posed the culture question to you very early on, and as you talk, you're almost describing your culture as you go along without probably knowing it, because you probably take it for granted these things. But it's very much coming across, and hopefully people listening to this will feel that as well. In terms of the apprenticeship levy, what are your views on it? Do you think it's encouraging?
Is this for public consumption?
Yeah, you can give it the PC answer, or you can just give me your honest one. It's up to you.
You'll get an honest one.
Okay.
So the apprentice level, on one level, is a fantastic idea. The problem we have is in its delivery.
Yes.
So I have a view that the world's changing so fast that we are going to need to be training everybody on a regular basis if they're going to stay current to their jobs. And construction is probably worse than most in terms of providing that continual training and upskilling. So we need to be able to find a way of taking the money that's taken off us for apprentice levy and upskilling everybody across the industry. One of the challenges we have on the apprentices is this 20% away from the work. And that's fine for people coming into the industry, and we can provide that 20% is quite important. But once you're a workhorse in the business, taking somebody out for a day a week is actually one very difficult.
Yeah.
But as an industry, and perhaps as a society, we're going to have to find some way of training these people, providing that input. I don't think the apprentice structure suits us very well in delivering that upskilling. And certainly the courses are going a long way to come before they're actually going to be particularly appropriate under the apprentice levy. But we've got to find a way of making sure that we are continually upskilling everybody if they're going to stay relevant to sort of challenges we've got.
Well, I think there's probably a common misconception around the apprenticeship levy of the level of apprenticeship course. People, and certainly business owners, don't understand that they've got this apprenticeship pot and they can, level 7 master's degree level equivalent apprenticeship route, so they can upskill their current workforce. They just see it as level 1, level 2 apprenticeships, and they can't spend the pot often. Well, actually, if you look at the commercial training that you're paying for, AAT or whatever that would be, you could actually have equivalent courses.
You can, but it's this 20% rule which is actually quite a challenge.
Absolutely, and that goes back to that.
I say, taking the workcourses out of my business,
1 day a week is
a real challenge.
And often, and you talked about, just off camera, you talked about your work-life balance is, you're working a lot of the evening. If someone's doing an apprenticeship course at level 7,
they've got to be working in the evening. Absolutely.
And often it doesn't lend itself to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, right, we've got a lot of people who've done distance learning, and where we will support, as a business, we support getting professionally qualified.
Okay.
And so that's, again, quite a lot of work involved in that. But it's generally less structured over a longer period of time, so people can actually mix and match what they need to do. And people make huge sacrifices to get professionally qualified. And that works. But as I say, the apprentice has got the apprentice structure to be able to pay or draw down those funds. It's got somewhere to go. The World Economic Forum says that 60% of the jobs of somebody graduating today haven't even been invented.
Staggering stats.
How you train for a job you haven't been invented? I don't know.
Well, it just shows the power of having to learn on the job, go through courses, and continue your education once you're in a role.
Well, you do. I had this. I gave a presentation to one of the best practice dinners, and I said to everybody there, sort of middle-aged and slightly older, all dressed up, and I said, the biggest problem you've all got, you're going to be a stranded asset. You're going to be very good at something that nobody's going to need very soon. You need to be retraining yourselves if you're going to retain relevance to the skills that your clients are going to need.
Absolutely.
So it's right across the board. So training is going to be something that I believe we're going to be doing ongoing, right the way through our lives.
Absolutely. And just finishing up on the construction side of it before we just have a look at a little bit more of the vision of Stepnell. For a young person looking to go into construction, what one piece of advice would you give them today?
One piece. It's a fantastic option.
Okay.
I think the careers in construction are just fantastic. So that's the only advice is go for it.
Go for it. Give it a go. Okay.
There's lots of advice that falls down from that. How to get into it and what to do. But actually, you can't go wrong in construction. It's the world's always going to need buildings and buildings repaired and renovated and changed and everything else. There's a great group of people in the industry. There's a wide range of skills that we will need to do, and actually the pay rate's pretty good.
That always helps, doesn't it? Okay, and the vision of Stepnell, I think you probably answered it to a certain degree.
Okay.
What is the sort of line in terms of the vision of Stepnell as a business when you're pitching to new employees? What does it look like? What is that vision?
So Stepnell's a modern business. We might be a 5th generation family business, but we're adopting some of the latest techniques and IT and equipment. We have to maintain the staff involvement in the direction of the business and what's going on, because they're the ones that are talking to the clients, talking to the supply chain, solving the problems on site that we've got. But the vision is we are going to be a successful contractor going forward, providing probably relatively niche services where we can add value to our clients. So the projects we like to do are the projects which are slightly more difficult. They're not just the bog standard pilot hire and sell it cheap.
Yeah.
We're providing a service to our customers. We're at the service end of the spectrum rather than the commodity end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And that allows us to mobilise our imagination and our skill sets to solve client problems.
Great. And just a couple of final questions for me, which we always ask to everybody on the podcast. Mentors. Do you have you got a personal professional mentor?
Personally, no. I've had one, but not at the moment.
Okay. What about professionally? Is there anyone you look to as a business leader and take little bits from them?
Oh, I take little bits from everybody.
Okay.
My junior staff as well as some of the interviews. Absolutely. I'm not proud where I take my
advice from.
all my good ideas.
Okay. And final question: if you were to gift a book to somebody, what one book would that be? That depends very much on the person. Who you're giving it to.
Who I'm giving it to, yes.
Okay. Have you got a favourite book that you...
So the one I'm an engineer.
Okay.
And if you're looking at how so a lot of the problems we have on site are around production, productivity. And the first production book for the common population was called The Gull.
Right, okay.
And it's all about one man's journey to how he got productivity in his factory.
Okay.
And it's a very, very simple and easy read, but it's it's a very easy access to people start thinking.
Okay, well, there we go. There's a recommendation.
Slightly different from everybody else, I'm sure.
No, absolutely. Well, we'll put this onto the show notes so people can access that. But Mark, really appreciate your time. Hopefully, this has been insightful, inspirational to people looking to come into construction. I'm sure it's come across that Stepnell, even though they're a family business, they're forward-thinking, a sustainable business, and anybody looking to apply for apprenticeships, I believe that there's a graduate scheme, their first graduate scheme that's going to be kicking off next year. Yeah. Apply, put yourself forward. It's all about attitude, as Mark's alluded to, and if you think you've got the right attitude, then there's opportunities within this business. So Mark, thanks a lot for your time.
That's all, thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Cheers,
Great,
thank you.